Hi, friend. Welcome to Holly's Highlights, a podcast designed to encourage, inspire, and equip you to intentionally live your life full of purpose. I'm your host, Holly Kirby, motivational speaker, leadership cultivator, marketing strategist, and personal cheerleader. Let's check out today's highlight. This episode brought to you by Heal Chiropractic. At Heal Chiropractic, Dr. Bryce Heal understands each patient is a unique individual and will customize treatments to their specific needs. Dr. Heal specializes in auto and work injuries, chronic headaches, neck pain and shoulder issues, TMJ, and can do decompression on hernia discs in your neck and low back. As a certified PGA sports chiropractor and head coach of a local high school state champion rugby team, Dr. Hill is pro at sports injuries too. You're sure to benefit from the effective therapies you'll receive at Heal Chiropractic, where you're treated like family. For more information, visit heal-chiropractic.com. It's that season. You know, the one when candy corn comes out. I have already gone through 2 bags. I'm addicted. And I think I actually put it out in the candy dish for the kids to munch on. But honestly, I don't think they've had a single piece. The other day, my kids and I were talking about our favorite candy, and I was sharing with them my favorite candy as a kid no longer even exists. It was called Bonkers. It was kind of like a Starburst, but with a different flavor inside, and I loved them. Anyhow, that got me thinking about all the things we kind of assumed would be around forever, such as Mervyn's and Hardee's. Of course, they had the best chocolate chip cookies. Drive-in movies. There are a few around. I know we still have one not too far from our home that the kids and I love to go to. It's just very relaxing for us. But just as these things come and go, so do people and friendships and relationships and time and seasons. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us that there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Let's face it, we live in a very fast-paced world where we make time for everything except the one thing we often long for: rest. Unattainable or non-essential to some. Just look at Statista.com, who reports energy drinks growing almost 6% last year. That's $3.7 billion in energy drinks just in 2020. Matthew 11:28 instructs us, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." My mom shared once in a talk that there are 4 main reasons of this rest. Rest so that our spirit may be restored within us. You know, we can get going so fast in so many directions that we simply get exhausted or feel unmotivated or just lack confidence in our purpose. We can take a hit in our health, our sleeping habits, our mental and creative energies. In fact, Forbes reported that 52% of people they surveyed in 2021 are experiencing burnout. Oh, the need to simply be restored. And then rest so that we can embrace the direction of life God would have us. If we're hustling about all the time, we can lose that sense of direction. We spin our wheels so fast that we forget about what matters, our priorities in life. It's kind of like having a timeout. The child being disciplined doesn't like the punishment of the timeout chair. We have one sitting in our own living room, or they don't like being sent to their room. But the time of rest there allows them to come to terms with reality of the situation. Rest simply to embrace life. Rest so that we can slow down and savor life. The smells, the sounds, the saying yes to the kids more often. In fact, just the other day, my kids and I were running around from one thing to another, and my day literally was taking them to school, going to work, picking them up, doing a podcast interview, only to then rush both of them to soccer and softball practices, and then go home and do homework and eat dinner and shower before going to bed. Well, as we were leaving my son's soccer practice, he asked, "Mom, can't we just stay for 5 minutes?" Do you know how badly I wanted to say, "No, it's been a crazy day. I'm super tired and we have tons of stuff to do before bed." But you know, in that moment, I am so thankful that I heard that voice of instinct remind me, let them be little, enjoy this moment. You're going to miss this one of these days. So we stayed and we played and I got to tell you, it was great. And I was so glad that I stopped to smell the roses. If we don't stop every so often, we're going to go through our journey, and I'm afraid we'll look back at a lot of missed moments. Slow down and truly savor the life you've been given. And then rest to take off on what's next in life. When COVID hit, life forced me to slow down, but it was in that season of rest that I was able to write my book, something I had felt prompted to do for quite a while, but just never had the time or took the time to do it. I also started this podcast, Holly's Highlights, and I launched my leadership and personal coaching services and my motivational speaking. All of these things would have never launched off, never would I have done them if I wasn't forced into a season of rest so that I could take off. Sometimes rest is necessary to retreat in order to advance. I find it interesting that in a recent issue of Forbes, they reported 8 in 10 workers want their company to focus on providing benefits such as retirement plans and health and disability and life insurance, paid family medical leave and emergency savings programs. And the Washington Post goes on to share that the pandemic was a wake-up call of sorts, where people are reevaluating or reprioritizing and reflecting on what they do. In fact, they're even saying that the struggle to balance that work and family obligations has finally caught up to everyone. Kristen Jennings Black, an assistant professor at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, who studies employee health and well-being, she said a lot of it comes down to how the pandemic has probably affected people's personal values and identity in some way, kind of on a deeper level. In fact, just the other day, I was talking with a guy whose family all up and moved states so that they could go be around a lake during the pandemic and take a slower pace of life. All of this while they were able to work from home and just be with one another. The bottom line is people are concerned about their health. They're seeking rest. Now, you might be thinking, that's great, but how do I find rest? If you only knew my life. Well, if I may offer a few suggestions for every life, for every style, for whatever your schedule is. My mom used to always say, everyone has 24 hours in a day. We all just choose to use them differently. Well, first of all, make it a priority. Choose a place, a time to have your rest. This could be called your quiet time, your me time, your time with God, your getaway with weekend, whatever you want to call it, and however long you want it to be. Jesus found this time in boats and gardens and in the mountains. There's no right or wrong. Just find what and when works for you. There are going to be different types of rest too. A coworker of mine finds her rest daily just minutes before entering work by just sitting in her car in silence. That mental preparation for the day. As much as I'd like to say my quiet time is at the same time every day, it's just not practical, nor is it necessarily every day. It might be in the morning as me and my kids do our devotion, so our time with the Lord, resting in Him spiritually. It might be scheduling a massage or something like that in the year. Hopefully more than once a year. So that physical rest. It might be sitting in the car in the carpool lane, just waiting to pick up kiddos from school and just taking in the sounds around me as I sit in the silence in my car. Or maybe even late night after I've tucked the kids in bed, then going and sitting on the back deck swing. So that mental rest. It might even be something like mine and my sister's girls' trips, which I shared about in our last episode 22. We plan for that every spring just to get away, so a time of rest from our responsibilities. Or a weekend away as I do as our family cabin, where my brother literally has carved in big log wood the verse Matthew 11:28, "Come to me all who are weary, and I will give you rest." So a rest of relocation. Again, how often it is and what that looks like is up to you and your schedule. But be prepared and intentional for that place, that time, to simply have your moment of rest. Second thing would be, then do it. Rest. As Psalms 46:10 tells us, be still and know I am God. So simply be still in that place and time. Maybe it's putting away or unplugging from the distractions, allowing yourself to be uncomfortable in the silence, in the stillness, in the moment. My son the other day came up to me and complained, "I'm so bored." Well, what was my reply? Well, good. It's good to be bored sometimes. We shouldn't seek entertainment 24/7. We shouldn't be attached or accessible 24/7. Our brains just don't need that. I think one of the worst inventions, and yet I'm going to contradict myself, yes, because sometimes they are actually the best inventions, is that stinking cell phone. It buzzes and we feel the urgency to respond. Yet the kids or our spouse walk in the room and we tend to silence them? No. Remove the cell phone, remove the distractions, remove that watch off your arm that rings and is attached to your phone and notifies you every single second. Just be still. And third would be maximize it. And I think the best way to maximize that time of rest is to incorporate prayer. Carrie Joby has a song, Be Still My Soul, where she sings, in you I rest, in you I find my hope, in you I trust, you never let me go. I place my life within your hands alone. Be still my soul. There is so much rest in the presence of the Lord, in prayer, allowing God to order our steps daily. These are going to look different from day to day too, as we all have seasons of life we're going to go through. But prayer is both powerful and effective. We know that. James 5:16 tells us that. Oh, we can find so much rest by resting in our Savior. This is where it's so important to spend daily time resting in God and His Word, such as daily devotions. I personally have the Jesus Calling by Sarah Young that I enjoy using. Resting in prayer, talking to God and listening to what He'd have to say to us, where He'd lead us, just resting in the peace of His presence. Speaking of peace, Nicole Nordeman has a very peaceful song entitled Every Season, where she sings about with every season's change, and so it will be as you are recreating me, summer, autumn, winter, spring. It makes me think of that Ecclesiastes 3:1 verse from earlier about a season for everything. Well, our seasons of life may include summer, the busyness, the carefree, the varied schedules. I love summer. I love the summer vacations. I love summer sleeping in. I love summer late nights. That's when we go to the drive-in movies. Just summer. Fall. Not death, as some may look at fall representing, but relief from hot, busy summer days. When schedules bring us back to consistency and those cool breezes brush against our face. And there's peacefulness about fall. Winter, that calmness, storing potential of what's next. The times to reflect and snuggle up, to plan and prepare and just be in the stillness of that falling snow. Winter. Spring, renewal, a renewal of energy and output, excitement for what is and is to come. The flowers blooming, the possibilities endless. Spring. Notice there are 4 seasons. It seems even seasons need a rest. When we don't rest, we aren't efficient. And for me, I can get grumpy. Or as I tell my kids, mommy needs alone time. But we can get burnt out or simply just lose sight of what matters in life. When we don't rest, we can lose our joy. God has so many gifts with your name on it, my friend. He wants to bless us far more than we can imagine and more than either of us deserve. But are we too tired to open those gifts, those blessings? Oh, dear friend, let's not be too busy to find rest in our season. Thank you for joining me on this journey of life. I hope that today's highlight has been encouraging, inspiring, and equipping so you can go out and live your life full of purpose. I'd be honored if you'd take a moment to leave a review, or better yet, subscribe. We can also stay in touch by joining my email list at hollykirby.com. That's HOLLYCURBY.com. Until next time, make it a great day for a great day.